Bro.
At the escalator. Arrival. Lower level. Hey!
You're jumping?
You won't believe this, but Jim Jones just found himself in the middle of an airport brawl that might have ended his career for good. The internet is on fire right now, and social media is exploding with reactions as shocking new details keep coming out. Eyewitnesses say it started as a heated argument, but with NCC on the scene, things took a turn for the worse. Punches were thrown, security was called, and now industry insiders are whispering that this could be the final nail in the coffin for Jim Jones' career. But here's where things get even wilder. Some say this wasn't just a random altercation. Rumors are swirling that this fight was deliberate, a calculated move tied to some major industry beef that's been brewing behind the scenes. If that's true, this changes everything. So, what really went down? Who was Jim fighting? And most importantly, will this scandal cost him everything he's worked for? Buckle up, because we're about to break down every single shocking detail, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. The entire internet is buzzing after Jim Jones found himself in the middle of a full-blown fistfight right in front of stunned passengers. And trust me, this wasn't just some random altercation. Insiders are now coming forward with explosive details revealing that this fight may have been planned from the very beginning. It all started as a normal day. Jim Jones was spotted at the airport rocking his usual flag gear, moving through security like any other traveler. He didn't look stressed. He didn't look worried. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. Eyewitnesses say that as Jim was walking towards his gate, a man suddenly stepped in his path. At first, it looked like a casual conversation, maybe even a misunderstanding. But within seconds, the energy shifted. Voices were raised, fingers were pointed, and the tension became unbearable. And then, boom, Jim swung first. A clean right hook straight to the guy's face, sending him stumbling back. People gasped. Some scrambled out of the way, while others pulled out their phones to record every second of the madness. The mystery man wasn't just going to take that hit. He charged back at Jim, throwing wild punches, some landing, some missing. Jim tried to block, but the situation had already spiraled out of control. Within seconds, airport security rushed in, trying to break it up, but not before one last brutal punch connected right to Jim's jaw. Now here's where things get really crazy, because this wasn't just some random dude Jim bumped into at the airport. No, this was something way deeper. Within minutes of the fight hitting social media, rumors started flying like wildfire. People started connecting the dots, and the industry insiders spilled some serious tea. According to multiple sources, this man wasn't a stranger at all. In fact, some claim he's connected to major power players in the industry, the kind of people you do not want to mess with. And if that's true, this fight wasn't an accident. It was a message. But a message from who? And more importantly, why? Some sources claim this has everything to do with money, big money. Allegedly, Jim has been caught up in some serious financial disputes behind the scenes, and let's just say not everyone has been happy with him. Others believe it's deeper than that. Some industry insiders are hinting that Jim has stepped on the wrong toes, maybe said too much, maybe done too much, and this fight was just the beginning of something much bigger. But let's rewind for a second because the fight itself, the details are insane. The video that leaked online is pure chaos. You can hear people screaming, gasping, even cheering as Jim and the mystery man go at it. Some passengers try to pull them apart, but once that kind of rage takes over, there's no stopping it. One witness described it as, it was like something out of a movie. Jim didn't even hesitate. He was ready to throw hands. Another person said, this wasn't a regular fight. This was personal, and you could feel it. Now, let's talk about the aftermath. Jim was immediately pulled aside by security, and reports say the police were called to the scene. No confirmation yet on whether Jim was actually arrested, but one thing is clear, this moment changed everything. His team has been completely silent, no statements, no clarifications, nothing. Meanwhile, the man he fought vanished from the airport. Some say he was escorted out quietly. Others say he left on his own. But the fact that there's zero information on who he is, that's what's making people suspicious. And this is where the theories get even wilder. A well-known industry insider took to social media and dropped a cryptic post saying, this was a setup. Jim walked right into it. Wait, what? If this was planned, who was behind it? And more importantly, why would they want to take Jim down like this? Here's where things get really interesting because some sources claim that this isn't just about a personal feud or a bad business deal. This goes way deeper. Some people are even saying that Jim's career might never recover from this. And if the rumors are true, this fight was just the beginning of something much bigger brewing behind the scenes. And trust me, it's about to get even crazier. If you thought things were wild so far, buckle up because we're just getting started. Right after the fight, Jim Jones was pulled aside by airport security, but here's where things take a dark turn. While everyone was focused on Jim, the mystery man disappeared. Now, how does that even happen? Think about it, in a major airport, in broad daylight, with cameras everywhere, this man just vanished into thin air. Something about this doesn't add up. That's when industry insiders started speaking out. One anonymous source, who claims to be very close to the situation, said, "This fight was way bigger than just Jim losing his temper. This was a planned hit, a setup. But a setup for what? And who was behind it?" That's where the theories start getting even crazier because, according to some sources, this mystery man isn't just some random guy. He's allegedly connected to some very powerful people. People who have serious influence in the music industry. People who, if you cross them, they'll make sure you never bounce back. And here's where things take a shocking twist. Apparently, Jim has been dealing with major industry beef behind the scenes. Some say it's over money. Others say it's about loyalty, or lack of it. And then there's the most chilling theory of them all are claiming that this fight wasn't just about hurting Jim physically, it was about destroying his career. Because within minutes of the fight going viral, something strange happened. Jim's business deals started crumbling. A brand partnership he had been working on? Gone. A major show appearance that was already booked? Cancelled. A feature on a huge album? Pulled at the last second. 1 minute Jim was on top of the world, the next it's like the industry completely turned on him. And this is where people started connecting the dots. Because guess what? This isn't the first time something like this has happened in the industry. Think back. How many artists have we seen get into an unexpected scandal only for their careers to suddenly take a nosedive? Could this be the same playbook? Some sources believe Jim was targeted, that this fight was never about the punches. It was about sending a message that Jim was officially being blacklisted. But that's where things get murky. One theory suggests that Jim has been getting too bold behind the scenes, speaking out about industry secrets that were never supposed to be revealed. Another theory claims that Jim owes the wrong people money. And then there's the most dangerous possibility of all, that Jim is caught up in something much bigger than even he realizes. Now, here's the part that nobody saw coming. Shortly after the fight, Jim went completely silent. No social media posts, no interviews, nothing. And this is not like him. Jim is known for always having something to say, especially when people are dragging his name through the mud. But this time, radio silence. And that's when people really started to worry. Because if Jim, one of the most outspoken figures in hip-hop, is suddenly keeping quiet, something is seriously wrong. Then, just when we thought this couldn't get any crazier, an old video resurfaced. A clip from a few years ago where Jim was talking about the dark side of the industry. In this clip, he hinted at some powerful forces that control things behind the scenes. He talked about how quickly someone can fall from grace. And then he said something that sent chills down everyone's spine. You never know when your time is up. One wrong move, and they'll make sure you disappear. Wait, what? Was Jim predicting his own downfall? Or worse, did he know this was coming? Because here's the thing, this airport fight didn't just affect Jim physically. It ruined his public image. And let's be real, when the media labels you as a problem, it's almost impossible to shake that off. So now the big question is, can Jim Jones come back from this? Or has this fight just sealed his fate for good? Well, hold on, because we are not done yet. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse for Jim Jones, the situation took a shocking turn that nobody saw coming. Because just hours after the airport fight footage went viral, rumors started swirling that Jim wasn't just dealing with public backlash, he was being completely blackballed. But here's where it gets even crazier. Multiple sources claimed that certain powerful figures in the industry were already working behind the scenes to shut Jim down for good. And the speed at which everything happened? Absolutely insane. Within a single day, Jim's scheduled performances were suddenly postponed indefinitely. A major endorsement deal he had been negotiating? Pulled without explanation. Even some of his closest industry friends? Silent. Not a single person defending him. It was like he was being erased in real time. And then Jim finally spoke out. In a now-deleted Instagram live, Jim looked frustrated, exhausted, and honestly, worried. The first thing he said, "Y'all don't even understand what's really happening behind the scenes." But before he could say more, the live suddenly cut off. What? At first, people thought it was just a glitch. But then Jim didn't go live again. He didn't post. He didn't tweet. He just disappeared. And that's when the conspiracy theories started to explode. Because this wasn't just about a fight anymore, something way bigger was happening. Some insiders claimed Jim had violated an unspoken rule of the industry, that he had angered the wrong people. And when someone in hip-hop crosses certain lines, they don't get second chances. Now, at first, this all sounded like wild speculation. But then a mysterious phone call leaked, and what was said in that call left the internet in shock. The audio allegedly featured Jim Jones talking to someone powerful in the music industry. Jim's voice? Shaky, tense. He kept repeating, "Yo, I didn't mean for it to go down like that. You gotta help me out." And the response he got? "It's out of my hands now. You already know how this works." What does that mean? Who was really pulling the strings behind the scenes? Because suddenly, it was looking like this wasn't just about a bad PR situation. This was a takedown. A carefully planned move to remove Jim from the industry. And the more people dug into it, the more things stopped making sense. For example, why did the airport fight footage leak so fast? Most security footage takes days, even weeks, to surface. But in this case, the internet had it within hours. And not just that, it was perfectly edited, clipped to make Jim look like the aggressor. Almost like someone wanted him to take the fall. And then came the biggest bombshell of all. A well-connected industry insider came forward with a chilling statement. They said, "This was never about the fight. That was just the excuse. Jim was already marked. They just needed a reason to move."
Who was they?
And more importantly, why do they want Jim gone? Because one thing was clear, this was personal. Someone, somewhere wanted Jim Jones out of the game. And the worst part? It was working. Jim's streaming numbers plummeted overnight. His collaborations? Falling apart. The media? Dragging his name through the mud. It was a complete industry shutdown. At this point, Jim had two choices: stay silent and let them erase him, fight back and risk making even more powerful enemies. So, what's going to happen next? That's the question everyone wants to know. Because if Jim decides to expose what really happened, this could become the biggest scandal in hip-hop history. But if he stays quiet, he could fade away like so many artists before him. Either way, this story is far from over. Now it's your turn. What do you think happened? Was Jim just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was this a calculated move by the industry to take him out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want the latest updates on this crazy situation, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. And just like that, Jim Jones' entire career is hanging by a thread. What started as a simple airport altercation has now spiraled into one of the most shocking industry shutdowns we've ever seen. But the real question is, was this just a bad moment gone viral? Or was it something much bigger? Because the way things have unfolded, the sudden silence, the leaked call, the media smear campaign, it all feels a little too calculated. And if Jim really was blackballed on purpose, who was behind it? More importantly, why? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. If Jim decides to fight back and expose what really went down, we could be looking at one of the biggest industry scandals of all time. Or will he disappear like so many before him? What do you think is really happening here? Was this just a random fight with crazy consequences? Or is Jim Jones the victim of a secret industry takedown? Drop your thoughts in the comments because we need to talk about this. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, this situation is about to get even messier. We'll be bringing you all the updates, all the inside scoops, and all the drama you won't hear anywhere else. Stay locked in. This is just the beginning.